What's up guys, it's Tom Picaro, and you don't have access to a gym right now. Don't worry though, because with some basic training and diet tips covered in this video, you can very easily maintain the gains you've made over the past couple of months or start your path down the fitness trail. This video is going to be in 3 parts: diet tips, training techniques, an exercise list, and 2 sample home workouts, timestamped in the video description in case you want to jump around. As far as the diet is concerned, unless you have a really well-equipped home gym, you want to be bulking or maintaining right now, since you have access to poor training. If you're cutting, you're going to lose more muscle, which is exactly what we want to prevent. As far as the diet's concerned, as always, you want to be eating high-quality food sources, mainly focusing on protein, vegetables, and fruit intake, and then any excess calories you have left over, you can fill in with some healthy fats or grains or potatoes. I recommend whole grains and sweet potatoes especially because they're high in potassium. And if you're having trouble finding protein sources at the grocery store, egg whites are almost always stocked, and they're super cheap sources of protein. For a $3 carton of egg whites, you get 120 grams of protein. You have 1 of those a day. You're probably more than halfway done your protein goals for the day, giving you lots of room to eat other stuff you want. Now, the training principles for when you're at home are pretty simple. Since the workouts you're doing aren't going to take that long to recover from, you should be doing 3 to 5 full body workouts per week. With the exercise list that I'm going to provide, all you have to do is pick 1 or 2 exercises per body part to do per workout. Do 3 to 4 sets of each of these to failure, and you'll get in an actually pretty good training session. Since there isn't much load to do the movements with, and you're not going to be able to add extra load, you have to figure out ways to make the movements harder for yourself if they're too easy. Some easy ways to do this is slowing down the reps or doing a time scheming. Like if I was doing a push-up, going down on a 2 count, pausing, and going up on a 2 count can make it super difficult. That, or doing intensity techniques like 1.5s in the push-up example, going down all the way, going back up halfway, down again, and up all the way. Just add in different ways to make the movements harder so that you can actually get to failure with them. One thing that people often do when they're doing bodyweight home workouts that make them not able to make progress is they don't actually go to failure. They have a rep count in their head that they hit because, 20 reps is a lot. But if you can get 40 reps, the 20 reps isn't going to do much for you. The exercise list is going to be broken down by body part, and once again, just choose 1 to 2 exercises per body part per workout, and you're golden. Starting off with the quads, we have the Bulgarian split squat. To do this movement, all you need is a chair or a bench, something where you can put your foot up. You're going to take one leg, put your one foot on back behind it, scoot your other foot out, and then just squat. You can make this harder, once again, by going slowly or doing 1.5s. And if you need to add extra load, a fully loaded backpack can add 40 or 50 pounds if you're loading it with textbooks, making the squat much harder. The next move is extremely difficult, and it's called a Sissy Squat. Now, while you're doing this, you're going to want to try to keep the line between your head to your knee straight. You're going to want to have something to hang on to for balance. Put your feet relatively close together, and then what you're going to do is get up on your toes and try to get your butt to your heels. And then come back up. It's like a leg extension, but with your body weight. Very hard. You don't need anything to make this more difficult. Even I have a lot of trouble doing this for 15-20 reps. You'll get a great burn-in with these. Depending on how long you make your step, the classic walking lunge can be done for the quads or the hamstrings, a shorter step being better for the quads and a longer step activating the hamstrings more. A single leg squat or pistol squat is also a great exercise for the quads. You can do with no equipment at home. If you need to balance, grab the back of the chair with one hand, but if you don't, just get on one leg, lift the other leg up, brace, and squat. Bang out a couple of those, you get a great quad pump. You also have the basic air squat, which everybody knows how to do, and jump squatting, which is going to make it feel like it's actually a loaded squat. And then the last new exercise that we have for the quads is the cannonball squat. For a cannonball squat, you're going to want to actually put your heels together and keep your feet narrow. To make this harder, you're not going to lock out your knees either when you squat. So after you're all set up in the cannonball squat position, you're just going to squat down, go slow, and come back most of the way up, not locking out to keep tension on the quads. Squat right in this motion. Once again, if you want to add extra load, grab your fully loaded backpack or bucket full of water, something of the sort, and do it kind of like a goblet squat. The hamstrings, we're going to start off with basic hip thrust variations. Obviously with your back on a chair, you can do a two-legged hip thrust, doing a squeeze at the top. To make it harder, you can do this one-legged, your leg crossed over, or your leg lifted. This has more of a glute focus, and if you want more of a hamstring focus, just swap it around. If you put your back on the floor, and then use your leg on the chair back, you get a very strong hamstring contraction. Our last hamstring exercise is the most difficult one. It's called a glute ham raise or Viking Curl. And you're going to need a significant other friend to hold your ankles down, or a dresser, something of the like, sofa, to put your ankles under. So what you're going to do is put your ankles under the dresser, squeeze your glutes and your hamstrings, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze until you can't anymore, and then push up out of here about halfway, and then use your hamstrings and your glutes to squeeze all the way back up. It's very, very difficult though. As far as chest is concerned, you of course have what's perhaps the best, push-ups and their variations, a flat push-up, incline push-up to hit more of the lower chest, and a decline push-up to hit more of the upper chest. But you're not limited to solely push-ups. As long as you have some textbooks lying around, there are at least 2 other good chest exercises that you can do. Once you have your textbooks, you're gonna lie down on the floor like you would for a bench press. And when you're on the floor with your textbooks, what you're gonna do is get in a bench press position and squeeze the textbooks together with your hands, imagining drawing your elbows, trying to squeeze them together as you press. Just do this slowly, focusing on the contraction. So you're gonna take your textbooks, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze your elbows together, and keep squeezing them as you come down. And you're gonna squeeze them together. You can very quickly get a chest pump by doing these squeeze presses. Very similar to the squeeze press, we have the Sven press. Once again, you're gonna use textbooks for this, and it's basically just doing a squeeze press while you're standing up. So all you're gonna do for the Sven press is grab your textbooks, hold them right at about the middle of your chest, squeeze them as you're pushing your elbows out, squeeze them together, squeeze your chest, and then come back in. Squeeze, squeeze your chest, and squeeze it back in. Now for the back. For back exercises, obviously pull-ups and chin-ups are going to be your best bang for buck back exercise, help you build the most strength and maintain the most muscle mass. But with your handy dandy backpack and a broomstick handle, you can do some other pretty decent back exercises at home, even if you don't have a pull-up bar. So first thing first, we're going to use our backpack and emulate a straight arm pull down by bending over, taking your arm straight with the backpack, and pulling your arm back till it's flat with your back. This is direct work for the lats. Even at home without weights, you can still do a strength training staple, the single arm dumbbell row with your backpack. Just grab a chair to hang on to and your backpack, and go for it, doing dumbbell rows. So hold your backpack and pull it back towards your hip. As long as you have 2 armchairs, you can emulate a barbell row with what's called an inverted row. So, you're gonna take your broomstick, lay it across the arms of the chairs, lay down underneath it, grab a wider grip. I like underhand rows more than overhand rows, so I'm gonna do an underhand row. Now, once you get underneath the weight, underneath the bar, grab it and pull your sternum towards the bar. For shoulders, you can do side flies, reverse flies, front flies, and dumbbell presses, all with your backpack. Just grab your backpack and use it as a dumbbell. So this example, side flies, front flies, a shoulder press, and a reverse fly. For biceps, you're going to be limited to curl variations, hopefully with your backpack, but studies have shown that even just squeezing really hard without any weight, contracting a muscle, can lead to muscle growth. But with your backpack, you can do the classic standard curl, hammer curl, crossbody hammer curl, seated curl, or any other type of curl you can think of. For triceps, we have a backpack kickback where you're going to bring your arm level with your torso as you're lying with one knee on top of a bed or on top of a bench, and extend the arm outward. We also have an overhead backpack extension, which you can do with any weight holding thing, like once again, a bucket full of water or your backpack. Just put your elbow and your arm over your head and extend the backpack up. You can do this one or two hands. Split it up. There's two different exercises. Be careful with the balance, but if you have access to two chairs of any sort, you also have access to tricep dips. The dip and the close grip push-up probably being your best bang for buck tricep exercises while you're stuck at home. Last but not least, calves. For calves, you are limited to whatever sort of standing calf raise you can figure out how to do, and you can add weight by holding onto your backpack. I highly recommend doing single leg calf raises because they're much more difficult than calf raises with both legs, on the edge of a stair so that you can get full range of motion. The two sample workouts I promised at the beginning of the video are in the description below, but remember, all you have to do to come up with your own workouts is pick one or two of the exercises in the exercise list and do 3 to 4 sets of them to failure for each body part. That's it. That's all I did to make these example workouts anyway. Either way, thanks for watching the video, guys. If you like the video, why don't you like the video and ask any questions in the comments below. If you're wondering anything about training or nutrition, I'll try to get back to you or make a video about it explaining your question in depth. And until next time, keep training hard and stay safe.